for me is the number one ultimate thing about when I'm not patient or when I'm wanting to control everything, I am not trusting my source. I can take just about every example I've given so far and I can trace it back to that same one. I'm not trusting the source. Somehow, I think I got the better ideas than God. I got the better ideas than God and I know how to make this happen. Trusting the source. That's a very important part of learning how to be more patient. And along with that, it helps us understand that divine timing is always taking place. Divine timing is always taking place when we will just stop, slow down, back up, listen. Okay? These are some of the things that I think are why it's so important. Now let me go back for just a minute to that little piece about if I wait and things come to me. Synchronicity happens in my life all the time. When things just seem to show up out of the blue just at the right timing, there's no accident to that. And I have learned to cultivate the ability to slow down and also to receive it. So last night, Becky was perusing on Facebook. And I had finished most of my talk. It was pretty much tucked away. And I have my little outline up here. And she says, "Oh, did you see this post from one of our own? This post from Jesse Martinez, who happens to be here today. Jesse, raise your hand." Yeah. You didn't know you were going to be part of my talk. Jesse posted this on Facebook. The key to everything is patience. There's more. Listen, you get the chicken by hatching the egg, not by smashing it. Perfect. And like, oh, I didn't know that was going to be part of my talk. Bless you. But when Becky, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I'm going to put that in there. That's a synchronistic event for me. Yes. If I had gone looking for that quote, I probably would not have found it. It came to me. It came to me. It's a synchronistic event. Does synchronistic mean coincidence? Hell no. Not for me anymore. And the more you get practiced at doing this, those coincidences ain't. Because we're making it welcome all the time. We're making all this stuff welcome all the time. And it shows up. So I take a very Taoist, laid-back approach when I'm doing my talks. And sometimes I don't even finish them until Sunday morning because of things like that. Because things will come to me and they will show up. And it's like, oh, thank you very much. That's part of my talk. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it comes. So the key to everything is patience. You get the chicken by hatching the egg, not by smashing it. It's such a great thing, Jesse. Thank you very much for posting that. Learning to drop our expectations, our shoulds, our fears, our stresses, all those things is a very high spiritual practice. So for those of you who take the time to do it, know that you are engaging in a high spiritual practice. Learning to drop the should and the expectation and the fear. So here's a few tools, if you will, or how-tos for those of you who like the how-to stuff. First of all, here's my favorite. It's called put things in perspective. Yes, put things in perspective. So when I start to stress and think that I know better than God and that I have to have it all under control, I think about Earth. Do you know how old she is? Over 4 billion years. Did I have anything to do with it? No. Do you know how long humans, in some form or another, have been around walking on this Earth?
25,000.
250,000, approximately. When I look at the statistics, they put plus or minus, and the plus or minus is a huge amount, but there are 250,000 years that humans have been here. Why do I think I have to control everything? That puts it in perspective for me. Life has been going on for a long, long time. It's going to go on for a long, long time in some form after I'm not here anymore. God didn't die and leave me in charge. Nor you. It's a perspective shifter for me. Oh my gosh, my 100 years on this planet are like a little blip. Important little blip, but a little blip. And so it just, when I start to get stressed out and impatient, it's like, what am I pushing so hard for? Why am I being impatient? Why do I feel like I need to control when all these years have been happening before me, and all these years will happen after me? It shifts my mind how I think about it. Another one is, and I'm only going to say this just to put it in your head, but I'm not going to elaborate. Time as we know it is just an illusion anyway. All I'm going to say about that, because that's a whole other talk in and of itself. Time as we know it is just an illusion. Remember, for me, maybe not you, other people are not in my way, and other people are not on my schedule. Other people are not in my way. Whew. Get out of my way! And I imagine, once I have that little rant, that everybody else around me that's driving says to me, get out of your way. I'm their problem, they think. Other people are not on my schedule. Other people move slower than me. So what? So what? When you're with someone who moves slower than you, that's the time to breathe. That's the time to say, okay, I'm feeling impatient because this person I'm with is moving really slow. I have two choices. I can get impatient because they're moving so slow, or I can say, what's the hurry? What's the hurry? Maybe there's something about being with this person right now who's moving slower than me that I need to learn from. Maybe it's about bringing me more present and more mindful about right now. I have somebody in mind that helps me be patient, that reminds me to slow down. Michael's a very good teacher for me.
Yeah.
For all of us. For all of us. He moves a little slower than me. And it's a really good thing. And I have had to tell myself, I can either get irritated or I can learn something. I can slow down. 9 times out of 10, I learn something and I slow down. Every once in a while, I get impatient. We all do. Bless you. But most of the time, I say, I have a choice here. I have a choice here of how to handle this. I have a choice on how to be. And if it's just a choice where I need to get to someplace else, then, that's a different choice. And I make sure I'm not around slow people on those days. I get that there's exceptions to every rule. If you're in the military, you kind of have to work a lot more on time. I'm talking about just our general life here, okay? So knowing that people aren't in our way, people are not on my schedule, that's a big how-to. Remembering simply breathe. Just simply remember to breathe. I say that to you all the time, but it is the best tool I know for being fully present and slowing myself down. Just stop and take a deep breath. And most importantly was the thing that I said earlier, we don't trust the source. So most importantly as a tool is to say right now, there's something greater going on than just my little need or my desire to push through. I'm going to trust God in my life. I'm going to trust this one source in my life, and I'm going to find ways to connect to it interiorly. I'm going to feel that presence inside of me, and I'm going to talk to myself, which is my God self. Okay, God, this is between you and me now. Let's talk. And, help me learn my lesson, whatever it needs to be. Have a conversation with the God of your understanding. Understand that God is in charge all the time, that God is never left. So I'm curious, how many of you consider yourselves fairly patient people? Is there anybody here who said, yeah, I'm pretty patient?
Yeah.
She said, not me. I'm one. I don't even Keep your hands up for me. Okay. Now, all of those who have your hands up right now, if it came really, really natural to you and you're just always patient, put your hand down. If you've just always been patient, put your hand down. Okay, those of you who have cultivated it, keep your hand up. Who would be willing to share a tip on what you did and how you did it? Keep your hand up if you'd be willing to share a tip. Can we have this mic? Billy's willing to share. A tip for them on how you achieve it.
It's really hard.
I'm one of those guys that moves really fast all the time. And the best thing for me is like you said, everybody's not on my schedule and really going to move as fast as I do. And so I can just see you as you and not as me. And it's sometimes really hard. But I do my best.
To see you as you, to honor them and not expect them to be you. Good. Leslie had her hand up.
I've worked with teenagers for a lot of years, and so what I learned to do was just to kind of take a deep breath and listen to what they're trying to tell me, and remember that they're in a different place than I am, and you know, so, and I had to be patient, it was my job.